Hey yo, how's everyone doing? Hope you're doing fine since last week. So yeah, first of all I want to say sorry to all of you guys who watched my last stream, because yeah, I'm streaming with the GoPro. This is my second stream. On the first one I forgot to turn off the sleep mode, so it shut down several times, and I pressed record so it didn't went to sleep, and I guess the quality was ruined except for the last part. So now I know that I don't have to press actually the recording button, and I just turned off the screensaver and the sleep mode and everything. So yeah, if the stream goes down, it's due to another technical issue of some sort, and yeah, it's probably because of the battery, because this is like an old GoPro, so the battery isn't very good. But I have spare batteries, so it's quick to change. That being said, yeah, today we're playing motogp4. I'm in the main menu. I'm just gonna check real quick if the stream is going okay. So bear with me a little bit, and seems like everything's fine. Yeah, everything's fine. Okay, so also, as always in my stream, I'll try to buy a mini fridge, because I want to buy a mini fridge for this room anyway. But yeah, we're not gonna drink alcohol, guys, in here, but we're gonna drink some soda of sorts. This is like white monster, cheap white monster from Temu. So it's Friday, and yeah, this is good. I'm not gonna lie. Just gonna put it here. So if it spills, it goes straight to my PlayStation 2. No, I'm kidding. It will not happen unless there's an earthquake. So for today, I just want to like chill Friday night and do some races in MotoGP. I loaded my save game so we can check a little bit. But I'm going to do a video about it. It's gonna be out on this Sunday. But I've mentioned in my previous video, the memory card one, that I found this old save of mine. And back then I was obsessed with MotoGP, and the race had the actual race duration. I think some of the assists are off, like the brake assist is off. It's in automatic, which is a bit weird, but I just want to chill, so I'll leave it. It's been a while since I've played this. A very long while. But yeah, I was obsessed with MotoGP for a period in my life, and I can't even ride a bicycle. Like, to this day I kinda can, but back then I couldn't, because skate was always my thing. I couldn't even ride a bicycle, but for some reason I wanted a bike growing up. Fortunately that never happened. I own a car and never got a bike. But I kind of dreamt of having an R6, a Yamaha. I always liked Yamahas. And I never wanted to go like for a 1000cc, even 500 seemed kind of scary, but yeah, maybe the R6. I'd be happy with the 250, I think. But again, I don't know how to ride a bike, and I think sports bikes, which are the ones I like this one, I heard they are super uncomfortable, but I wouldn't know. Like, I don't like the visual aspect of a Harley Davidson. I like the noise, but I don't like, which I heard are more comfortable a little bit, and like scooters. I don't like scooters very much. I don't know what others are. I like 80s bikes as well, like the Hondas. Oops, did I just... Anyway. Bro, this controller is so mushy, like I have to super press on X super hard. You can... Is it too bright, the television? I hope not. But you can see the graphic of the acceleration. And I have to press really hard. Almost. I'm riding automatic, so I shouldn't be aggressive to the point of sending someone off. I'm not really focused right now, but let's try to keep things clean. I'm also kind of being conservative, and the trajectories are yet to still be improved. I'm playing very badly, sorry. I'm not sure if this is in hard modes, because at the time I wanted to play as hard as I could to be closer to the real thing, but this save file is with 125cc class, so I think it's like my second run where I was already giving up on the game. So I'm not sure if I have the full hardest realist settings. I remember back then I knew the break points, and I would be flying. No. Right now I don't feel the confidence like I felt back then. Because when you know the corners, you know how to approach them. Because the objective is go speeding on the way out, right? And some of these you would not need to brake. You can just decelerate and then accelerate after the apex. And others you need to brake. I don't. It's been a while. Brno was actually one of my I like this circuit a lot. Of course, my favorite is Estoril, right? Because I'm from Portugal and all the memories, and I went every year to watch a race back then. Now here I don't even have to brake that much. I can just kind of do this if I'm careful. Let's try to my driving style feels a bit weird at this point. Yes sir, it's me. Going conservative here, but also don't want to be overtaken. Can I? Oops, it's gonna be... Yeah, no. Don't want to play dirty. But again, I'm not feeling the confidence to play correctly. This controller feels very binary. It's either full or not full. I don't have much sensitivity. Maybe braking too soon. I think I can throttle a bit earlier there as well. Here needs more braking. Yeah, this section was super wrong. And if you guys watch MotoGP, I hope you enjoy it still. I find it more exciting than F1, to be honest. And yeah, I stopped watching a bit when Rossi became a bit older. He was my favorite pilot, race driver. Say pilot in Portuguese, not sure in English what would be. But then Oliveira, the Portuguese rider, became a thing, so I followed his career, but now not sure what the future will hold. So I haven't watched as religiously as I used to for some years now. But I still enjoy it more than Formula One. The races. The drama, if you want drama, I think Formula One is nicer. Feels a bit like wrestling. If you like all those narratives, I like F1 for that. But don't get me wrong, like Formula One still has its moments, like some races are still okay to watch. And you still have highlights that are, you have good drivers as well. I think there was a time where I didn't even feel excited about the drivers, but Alonso was fun to watch, Verstappen is fun to watch. Hamilton, there was a time where he was fun to watch as well. There was a stage there where Hamilton was young and Schumacher was leaving the scene, and so there was a time where I felt like there's nobody of interest, but thankfully it was just for maybe 1 year or two. Not that I enjoyed much of the Schumacher years, maybe in the beginning, but I did enjoy like the Alonso years. Raikkonen, more or less. But Raikkonen as a person is funny as hell. I love how the guy kept partying and still a very good pilot. But yeah. Also, when you have like a Portuguese driver in MotoGP, you have to you have to root for the locals, right? At least I'm that type of person. Like, we need to be proud. Don't sound like a nationalist or something, but we should proud ourselves of what we have and do, right? Somewhat. So it's kind of hard for me, like, not to. And Oliveira, the Portuguese rider, he's not a douchebag, so he seems like a regular person. So, and he's a good pilot. He's a good driver. We had the Portuguese guy in the Formula One, Monteiro. It was okay. I'm not sure he had a very good chance because he didn't have the best car. It was okay. It also did not have like a personality that would make me say like, nah, I can't screw with this guy. But yeah, that was one more reason to watch more MotoGP than Formula One. Is that since we don't have a Portuguese guy in Formula One, like who should I root for in Formula One? Currently, I don't even know. I have a love-hate relationship with Verstappen. I think Lando Norris seems promising, but there are some things as well I don't like. I haven't really decided. And I have this curse, like I always liked Ferrari as a team, but yeah, let's not be crazy to the point of saying like those guys are a Ferrari. That's a shit show sometimes. It's full of crazy bad people, crazy people. Yeah. It's impossible not to find that team like crazy. It's they're in their own world, which is both entertaining and fascinating, but also crazy and professionally crazy. Yeah. Locatelli. What about Simoncelli? Is he? Mama. Is there? No. Like I wanted to see if I'm in the hardest difficulty or not. Yeah, so I have a video coming out in 2 days. It's MotoGP, lost in laps, and how wasting time seems like riding nowhere. It's a different video, way shorter, a bit more produced, less raw. It's a 4 minute and 20 video. I'm still new to this YouTube thing. Nobody's watching this, but if you are somewhere, in times, the context is I'm new to this thing. I'm still figuring out what's my style, what I should do. Yeah, how I really want to approach, like how do I really want to communicate with the world? And yeah, from the very beginning, like I did the first video and realized it was like 20 more minutes, and I thought maybe that's too long. So after 1 month, I always thought streams were a solution for that, because in the beginning I thought I wanted the life lessons I have on my channel. That's the main thing. I want you guys, I want to document this for some life lessons for my kids, future generations, but of course people on YouTube. So that's the most value you'll get out of this, if I can help you. If I can crack the code for something you might be going through, or I can help you, or just can give you some energy or some positivity. That's the main thing I want to accomplish from my channel. But in the beginning I also wanted it to be kind of edgy, cool, be a bit DIY, punk vibes, because I'm growing up. I come from skateboarding scene. I feel like even Portuguese people as a culture, we are a small country. Not say very poor people, but poor people. And it's kind of in our culture to, how do you say, we have a word in Portuguese for this, desenrascar, which basically means to do things with what you have. MacGyver it, maybe. So culturally, we are all a bit of MacGyvers in Portugal. That can be a bad thing, but also a good thing. And if you are into organized work, like engineering, German efficient work, sometimes that can be a curse, but it can also be a blessing if you work with super structured people like Japanese people, and you have to come up with solutions last minute. And for the Japanese, for example, this is something hard, and for us Portuguese it's something like we do, I don't like to say on a daily, but it's ingrained in our culture. And of course I'm not going to say it's the best and perfect solution, it's not, but it's ingrained in our culture that we are good at that. So that's why I don't have super good equipment. I'm trying to maximize as much as I can, and I also want to learn from that experience, from the grind. So it's fine. But yeah, the direction of my channel, I'm still in the very early beginning, but I realized in the first month that maybe I want to split the edgy, see the blue lights you see here, which I hope are enough for you guys to see and dig the vibes. I hope you guys feel it's kind of different, but I want to keep those in the streams, and for the videos I want them to be, I'm okay with them maybe being a bit more produced and less edgy and less raw. But let's see if that works. I also don't have much time, because my job and my family are my priorities. I'm just trying my best and want to learn as much as I can, so that in 2 years when I have more time, because currently my kid is always at home with me and his mom, and we kind of do shifts, I work in the morning while his mom is with him in the same house, and we go to lunch together, and then after lunch she works. And I take care of the kids, we have dinner. After dinner we're all together, then the kid goes to sleep, and my wife goes to work again. And sometimes I also go to work again, but if not, I'll be streaming and working here. Other days, of course, I'll do other things. Sometimes we spend time together, me and my wife, we don't work. Other times I go do some exercise or play video games with friends, hang out with friends. Like she does the same. So it depends on on what we have on the plate. And that's also the time where I stream for you guys and do the videos. I think in the GT5 unboxing video you can see that I started the video midnight and a half or something like that, because I only go to bed usually at 2 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, in 2 years, like when my son goes to school, at least I'll have more time in the afternoon to work, so that will leave me with some nights more free to edit more properly, and hopefully in 2 years I'll I'll know better how to edit and how to do thumbnails properly, how to communicate better, my English is better, present the message better, go more straight to the point, because I yap a lot, which is also both a curse and a blessing. Yeah, hope you guys are doing fine. Hope you had a good week. Hope everybody is in a good place in their lives. If you're watching this somewhere, somehow, somewhere. I want to drink so bad, but like otherwise, how am I going to finish? But yeah, just like I mentioned in the video that will come out on Sunday, and this gets very lonely. I tried my best to keep it as hard as I could. I need to double check, but this gets very lonely. And what I used to do back then was put some music, because I always played with some of my own music, like Limp Bizkit or Linkin Park or some new metal, Metallica maybe at this point even, I don't know what I was listening to at the time, and would just be kind of mindlessly going through the track as I am now, which like didn't teach me much. Basically the tracks would go into my subconscious, I guess, but now 15 years later I cannot say I have the tracks all memorized. At least now I don't feel like I'm playing terrible. But again, I'm not focused on what I'm doing. All this time I've been cruising, and just like back then. Now I'm talking to you guys thinking it aloud, and back then I would just be in my head thinking about, I don't know, stuff that happened in school and girls or friends or I don't know. So I wasn't even really taking anything from this. That's kind of the point of the video. This game made me... It's kind of a meditation of sorts, playing this game at the time. Which ended up being good, because I realized some things. So it was like therapy, in a sense. Draw this corner. Oof, I'm really going crazy on this one. And I don't think I have a huge advantage over the, yeah, 1 second. 1 second behind me. It's not a huge advantage. It's easy though, if I like don't screw up, it's easy. But yeah, it's much better when you do things with intention. Because all these years I learned nothing, and if I was, I could even decide to play the game, but if I decided to play the game, which I did not, if I were focused and like invested in, if I was intentionally playing, at least I would, I don't know, learn about how to approach the corners or get better at sim racing, you know? It's completely different if you are just playing a game and not caring about anything, or if the mindset is like, I'm gonna study the track, if you take it a bit more serious. And like, don't get me wrong, either is fine. You just have to be true to yourself and again, do things with intention, in the sense that if you're just resting and you just want to play, you just want to clear your mind, like you're just, yeah, you want to meditate or just listen, like my goal could even be like, I want to listen to this record, which would not be very good because then I should just listen to the record. But yeah, if the goal is just like, I just want to play, like I'm tired, I just want to play, I don't care, then it's totally fine. But if the goal was like mine, I was obsessed with MotoGP, I want a bike, I want to learn, memorize the tracks, then I should like, when I was playing, I should have like, be focused, oh, this corner comes after that corner, and in this corner, like I have to brake here. That was a bit like that, a little bit, but after a while, just like now, like the first 5 laps, maybe I would be in that mindset, but after then it will, yeah, I don't care. Ooh, you caught up. Am I slowing my pace? To 11 to 13, yeah, I had the lap which was 2 seconds, yeah, I'm a bit slower. I'm getting slower. See, like even now I feel like even talking with you guys, I'm still more focused on what I'm doing than back then. And of course now I'm more mature, I have more experience. I know what's important and what's not, so it's quicker for me to like check the patterns. Back then I was a kid, but at the time I was not getting much value. I'm still trying to figure out how to be better at the audio of my videos, but hopefully find the production of the video good enough. And it's hard for me to measure, like, I get tired of my own voice, of what I'm saying. Like I know my own story, like for me it always feels uninteresting and feels like I'm reading or feels like my voice is monotonic, I yap too much. So it's hard to tell if I'm doing a good job or not. Hopefully one day you guys are able to tell me. Oof, kinda played a bit dirty. Not sure if it's just, oh, it's common, or if I'm actually doing something wrong. Probably I am. Time will tell. Have time, so. No, yeah. Bro, dirty. And I don't think I even have a better bike than the other guys, but for some reason it feels super easy. That sucks. And I know like this isn't, MotoGP was never like a very simulator game. It's very arcadey, but still. Or at least it was. I haven't played for some years now. Not gonna lie. Ooh. No. Also, not many laps remaining. Let's brake later than him a little bit. Yeah, this should be mine, right? That should work, but usually it doesn't approach the corner like this. And bad practice because I'm not even looking. I don't know where's the button to look back. Here, maybe go flat out. How do I look back? What? I don't know how to look back. So I have to press X so hard to like go flat out. One five. Going conservative here. Ooh. Can we go? No. Go flat out now. Ooh. Press X with super strength. Maybe a bit too aggressive on the braking there. Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go. Brake. Get closer to the apex. Throttle. Throttle. I think I can be a bit more brave in the next corner. I'm not sure I will remember. And 6, it's increasing the gap. So that's ever good. This one, tight one. If I had more confidence, I would have taken more juice out of this one. I could have gone flat out. Can I drink? Don't drink while you drive, please. I love when you're riding a bike, at least in games, like um, it's way cooler to see like um, how do I explain it I think in Portuguese, but you get more of a sense of what it's like cornering with the throttle than with cars. Like I was used to play a lot of racing car games, and of course, understeer and oversteer and cornering and like how rear wheel drive. If you throttle, it can make you oversteer and things like that. But when you play MotoGP or play with a bike, you really get the sense, like when you're approaching a corner, that if you throttle, you get away from the apex of the corner, and if you don't throttle or if you brake, you get closer. So here, if I brake, I get closer to the apex, right? As you saw there. And if I accelerate, I get far from the apex. So that was one of the coolest things like I learned from playing this game a lot, was it's not as easy to see in a car or in racing car games, Gran Turismo, things like that, to see how throttling affects corner. And with bikes, it's a really cool feeling for you to go like close to an apex and like just be throttling, go flat out near the apex. You feel like you're flying. And I liked that feeling a lot, where I was, when I really knew the track and I was really like in my prime, let's say, I felt like sometimes I was just flying through the track. Because I knew, like, I'm not saying it was perfect, like I was not, but like I knew where to brake and where to throttle, and it almost felt like I was flying through the corners. Every time I would exit the apex of a corner, it's like always flat out, always flat out. At least in my memory, that's what it felt like. Of course, I'm certain like it was not that perfect, but this feeling of like just throttling through the corner, almost slicing it like a wave or something, it felt kind of close to skateboarding in that sense. It felt like you were flying, and that attracted me to bikes. I always wondered, like with skateboard, for me, still to this day, it's a feeling like freedom. It's one of the best feelings. Like, just to ride, I'm not even saying like doing tricks on a skateboard. Just to ride the skateboard, to me, even to this day, it feels like one of the most liberating feelings and one of the most enjoyable feelings I had the pleasure to experience in my life. So that experience, like skateboarding, if it were another life, maybe I would be a skateboarder. Because just riding the skate, like, in Portugal, it's just it's not a good country for that. But I remember like this video of Chad Musk and Tony Hawk's where he says like, I just like to cruise around with my skateboard, and like I felt that, like, I get you. And I always wondered, like with bikes, if I learned how to ride a bike and had a bike, I always imagine like if it would be the same liberating feeling, and if I would get addicted to it. I will never know. But the cons of like riding a bike for me are not worth it. When you compare the cons with the pros and do the math, like for me, this is very personal, right? I'm not saying like, oh, bikes are this or that, like bikes are pretty safe, okay. Just don't go crazy. It's like skateboarding. You can do skateboarding, which I sometimes still do, without going crazy. If you know your limitations and you know, like, that if you respect what you're doing, if you treat the skateboard and the bikes with respect and the activity with respect, you know where your limits are, so you know, like, what you know how to ride a bike or a skate. Like, I know how to ride a skate, knowing that I won't pull anything crazy, which then will result in me not falling. So I know I can ride a skate without going crazy, and don't being afraid to fall. Maybe if you're under 25, this doesn't make much sense what I'm saying. That's because your prefrontal cortex is not developed and you don't have the the juízo, as we say in Portuguese, the judgment to understand, like, the consequences. Ooh, let's go. So this is the final lap. Is this my actual best lap? 2:10. We ended up on the best lap. On these last 3 laps I was focusing on not to, like, on actually winning the race, and I think it showed a bit. Bro, check this out. 125cc in my class is Dovizioso, Jorge Lorenzo, Jorge, right, Lorenzo, Locatelli, Barberá, Nieto, Casey Stone, bro. At the time I didn't like even, I would not expect Lorenzo, for example, to, I did not realize at the time Lorenzo would be this good. Even though he was a fine pilot in its class. But yeah, this is kind of cool too. The manufacturer has provided us with a new engine. Cool. Oh, you have the tests. I didn't. I actually forgot about this. You have tests. By the way, I wonder if I should stream in Twitch in the near future. It's like nobody watches this anyway, but maybe, who the hell knows. So I have to reach certain speed. This corner is, whoa, the bike feels super light. Yeah, my bad. No, really? So if you fail the test, you don't get the parts in one shot? Okay, cool. Yo, by the way, Streel baby. I actually wanted to do, like, I was gonna say, oh, let's quit career mode and go do a race in Streel, but now it's Streel. But yeah, it's almost 1 AM. I'll do this race and then I'll turn off the stream for now. Let's do a qualifying practice. This was just to get you guys hyped for my next video, but nobody's watching, which is cool. Which is totally fine, totally fine. I'm having fun. Kind of feel bad I didn't get the engine, but we should be fine anyway. The bike felt super lighter, super different, like yeah, people sometimes will do the same crap as I did. Very common mistake. Why did I? Oh, okay. So very common mistake there. So now I'm approaching the corner where I used to sit. I used to sit there on the left. Wait, not here. Yeah, the bike feels different now. Feels lighter still. So maybe I do have the engine. So yeah, guys, let's see if I can. I used to sit right around there. You see these people there? That's where I used to sit. I would get tickets for that. So usually, and I talk about this in the video. Hopefully you'll watch it. But there was this crash in this corner, which was super unpredictable and felt like winning the lottery. So in my seat I would see this corner, I would see this straight, and I would also see the bikes leaving in this corner. So I liked that seat because it had a little bit of everything. In my later days, so I explained this in the video, but I have an uncle who used to be a national rally driver, all-terrain, Jeeps and Suzuki Vitara, Land Rover, I don't know how to say it in English, all-terrain I think, tudo terreno é and yeah, he, like that side of the family, like his dad also worked in the automotive industry, my uncle worked in the automotive industry. One of my cousins was into sim racing, did well in some. So yeah, from a little boy, we used to go to racing events because my uncle would get us tickets, so I always go with my uncle, my cousins, and my uncle and my aunt. We would go a lot to Estoril and all these racing events, and yeah, because he worked as a director for a brand's an international brand here in Portugal. He was almost like responsible for the country. Yeah, so he got a lot of parts. And yeah, he used to get us tickets to that seat in MotoGP. I don't think the first years it was on those seats, but then we changed to that section, and we for a lot of years we went to that section, and it was always a vibe because people, like, you see the community, like everyone had their bikes, like the biking community, people were there, and like the jerseys you could buy, like Rossi and Seth Gibernau, like the jerseys were super cool, like the merch for the riders were super cool. I always wanted like this Rossi jersey and the hat and even the finger sleeves. I find them to be cool. Like I always wanted that. Of course, like my father, my uncles never bought anything for me. They would buy for their kids, but they would not buy for me, which is understandable. They already would take me with them and gave me the free tickets, and so it's totally fine. But my father Also never bought me. He wouldn't go most of the times. My dad and my mom, they would not go because they were like, my mom was sick most of the time, and my father, it was not. He was more into soccer, football, not into racing, and yeah, maybe he was tired because he was taking care of my mom, but he, like, for him everything was too much work, so he would rather stay at home. But yeah, and in the later years, because after a while, like, my cousins growing up, they started losing interest. My aunt also, like, went for a few years, then like, nah, I'm okay, I don't want to go. And my uncle, as soon as my aunt didn't want to go, was like, you kids are old now, you guys go if you want. The oldest cousin had a driver's license already, so you can go with him. And yeah, my newest cousin, he preferred to stay at home play video games. So I would go with my oldest cousin for a few years, and in the last years, the tickets we had was for this straight in the finish line, which I always felt like it was the most popular place, but it was super boring just to go, just to see people in the straight line, the finish line. Like, you see the starting line, which is cool, right? The start of the race, but after that you just see people like flies, wing, wing, passing by. It's super boring, in my opinion. Of course, like, that's the ticket I had. Like, I'm not complaining, right? The vibes were still cool. There used to be a guy who would go with the chainsaw but without the blade and it would just be doing noise. Like, you could smell the petrol everywhere, and like the people, see all those people that were super into bikes. It was kind of cool. It was always an immersive experience, and I always enjoyed that part of it. Even in the starting line, it was always like, and waking up early to have a place in the parking lot, because it was also always super hard to park the car, and you'd bring your own lunch and things like that. And the Moto3 class, the 155, the kids would go crazy with the overtakes, and I always had fun, to be honest. And especially that year with on the video that's coming out in 2 days on Sunday. That year, especially for me, was like the year that I went bonkers with it. Like, I was not. It was one of the years that I was starting to feel like, maybe this is boring. People are not going. It's just me and my oldest cousin. I don't know. I'm getting old. I prefer to do other things. But when we went, like, it felt like a movie. The excitement felt like winning the lottery, in the sense that it was super unexpected. The expectation for me was super low, and when the race and the crash happened, it blew my mind to the point like, the next 2 years of my life it would be just bikes and MotoGP. It was that cool. Oof, yeah, this was dirty of me. I hated this. It's the most difficult part because of the elevation in the S. But still, is super. Like, it's fun. It's a fun circuit, no? You have overtake points. Like, it's a small but like interesting, fun track. Oof, I fumbled a bit there. The infamous corner, the 2006 crash. Championship was predictable that year, but this corner made it what? Open. To new possibilities. Ooh. This reminds me of the Laguna Seca. The also has this, but in Laguna Seca it's downwards, and here it's upwards. One thing I never did was there used to be F1 races in Estoril, and I did not get to watch those, unfortunately. But I wonder, oops, how Formula One cars would go to the television parts. It's already here, no? Okay. It's 1-1, so we're square. If I would do this in real life, it's okay. Whew. I'm trying to do things as I did back then, but I don't have the skill anymore. Yeah, definitely don't have the bravery, because I don't know what I'm doing. I knew what I was doing, I'd be more confident, but it's okay. And I miss this circuit. Like my kids, he also like enjoys, for some reason he always seems like he enjoys cars and bikes and things like that, so I can't wait for like him to be old enough for us to actually go watch some races in Estoril and some other racing events. There aren't many racing events in Portugal as I would like. You have to sometimes really search deep. And most of them I would say they're not in Lisbon where I live, so it's not that they're far away, like they're probably 1 hour away by car, things like that. They're more outside of the center, the capital, the big cities, which is understandable. But yeah, my 4-year-old, to do those kinds of trips, I think it will be too much of a toll on him still. But one day. And my wife, I'm also lucky that my wife, she's also into cars. Sometimes more than me, in the sense that like she's crazy about our 34s. That's her dream car, and she knows like about Skylines. She knows like all the details and specs. So she can go crazy. I'm gonna fuck this up. she can go crazy. And she also enjoyed, like, she doesn't enjoy MotoGP much, but she grew up watching F1 with her dad, and she enjoyed cars, and she likes racing games as well. She's more into drifting though. JDM's in drifting. Even though she's not an initial D girl, that's the cars she likes. Sylvia, Skyline. She dreams to drift one day. Maybe we can go to do some track days maybe one day. And then she'll have fun. But yeah, I can't wait for those days to actually come. Yo. Oh, crazy here. No, mom. Too much foolery. Where's the drink? Oh crap, it's gonna go. So wrong. I can feel it already. Ooh. Okay. Portugal. It also kind of sucks for me because I think about the environment a lot, and there was a period like I always loved racing, but as a sport it kind of, even up to this day, I feel sometimes a bit heartbroken. Like, I wish there was an alternative where it was better for the environment. It feels kind of stupid, like all the fuel, all the tires. Like, I wish there was another way. Because I do enjoy the sport, but yeah. Feels bad. Feels such a luxury these days. There's a line I always remember, there's a line in Persona 3, not sure if you guys play that game, it's a JRPG, where you have this alien character and he's amazed with humans having fountains. And I don't know like the line actually by heart, but it's something like, "Oh, you guys have what was it? You guys have such display of like the most rare resource on Earth, or it's not even rare. It's like the most essential resource on Earth." So it's something along the lines of like, "Whoa, you guys waste water to display it in a fountain that's so luxurious and exquisite, like we aliens would never." And I always remember that moment from the game where it's like, oh yeah, holy fuck, a fountain, drinkable water, and we use that resource like here's a fountain for you to enjoy. Vislumbrar. I wonder what's that word in English. To glare at? Nah. It's more luxurious than that. For your delight, maybe something like along those lines. Here's a fountain for your delight. Drinkable water. the most exquisite of resources on planet Earth. Something along these lines. Again, not judging anybody, you know. Always looking at the sideways. Trying not to fall, keeping the bike straight as much as possible. I know I don't have the best bike. Ooh, yeah, no. My bad. This is not how we play. Especially if we're trying to simulate real life, right? My uncle used to mock me sometimes as a kid, like I would cut corners and go through the grass, and my uncle would always, my nickname back then was the gardener, because I was always cutting grass. What are you, the gardener? And he would say like, you look like Crispin, which was the name of the, look at this guy, he looks like Crispin, are you cutting the grass? But I was like 7-year-old, and it was also it was also funny because we used to race, like me and my cousins and my uncle. We were always in the extreme wheel. We're back? Yes, we are. Yeah, sorry. One day I'll have a better camera with a better battery, but that will only happen in 1 year or so. Unless I start getting more viewers and this becomes more serious. But I was saying, yeah, we would always compete, my cousins and my uncle and me, and it was funny because my oldest cousin, he would play with all of the assists off, and as much real, and I would be like 8, he would be like 13 already doing this. So my cousins were born with like steering wheels on their hands, almost. Especially my oldest, like my younger cousin, he would also play other video games, and video games was his thing. He was always playing video games. So, but the oldest one, he would only play racing games. When he was playing video games, it was racing games, and my uncle would always buy them the steering wheels, so they had the steering wheels. And my oldest cousin, like from a very early age, what? It was almost like that. If you watch my video on Sunday, the crash, it was almost like that. The AI on this game can be funny at times. See, these, just like in real life, these are interesting. Oops, overtaking points can be technical, especially this part of the circuit is technical. This is an arcade game, so but you can see there are a lot of strategies that you could go with in this last part of the circuit, which always had good moments. The last corner. But yeah, my oldest cousin, he was always playing racing games. That's why when iRacing became a thing, like he did good in some events. The first wheel I had, steering wheel I had for a game, it was one he gave to me because he won like 2 or 3 steering wheels from competitions in iRacing. You get money sometimes in racing wheels. So he gave one to me. That was my first steering wheel. Now he has this crazy setup, right? Like, what? The AI is giving me this win easy. He has this crazy setup, like you see lots of people on YouTube have. He doesn't play as much because now he has a job like a regular adult. He has other responsibilities. I think he also mentioned like one of the guys on his team also died. Don't know from what or what happened, but I remember him saying like for a while he could not play the game because he was a friend and that had some impact on him, and he also had some other issues in his life that like were he had to like focus on, personal things happening in his life which took priority, and that's normal, right? But I think he's back to slowly coming back to doing some events now and then. He's not competing, not taking it very seriously, I think. But he's also living abroad. He's not living in Portugal, so I don't think racing games are on the top of his priorities now. But I always felt like he was cool for actually taking it serious and achieving things with that. And I always thought like, how many of us can like say like our first job was we got money from iRacing? Like, bruh. I wish he had the courage back then to like go even further, but again, it's not his fault in the sense that like, yeah, there was some things in his life, the environment and some things in his life also made it harder for him to go all in, maybe. But I also think like he never thought he was capable of going all in. but I always had confidence in him and in his skills. Maybe I'm biased because I'm his cousin and I'm being optimistic because it's not that easy for sure. But I know he had it in him. I still think he does, if he like. But that would probably, of course, require for him like to do just that. And as an adult, as you grow older, that gets harder and harder. To throw everything away, just focus on something as gaming. It's hard sometimes to justify, and I get that. But back then, when he had less responsibility, I think it's different if you have supportive parents, which I don't think he had. They were not like the worst, but in that department I feel like he did not have, he was not dealt with the best of cards, let's just say. That's life sometimes. But yeah, I still have like this weird little hope of like someday he has his break and gets big. I'm not sure even if that's something that he wants right now. I think he's over it, but I just like to see people succeed. Achieve their potential and dreams and achieve what they want out of life. And that's also something I wish for you guys, whoever's watching this. Ten more minutes. Anyways, again, I'm getting tired because this is almost 1:30 a.m. and I'm an old guy. If it wasn't for the monster, I would be Jesus, my hands hurt from like pressing X so hard. I need to. I'm not sure I still have my old PlayStation's clear blue controller, which I loved. I think I don't. I lost it. That's what happens when you have to move a lot of times. And then when I went to my uncle to live with my uncles, I'm not going to explain you the full story, maybe one day I will. In short, I was kicked out of my house at 21 and I had to go live with my uncle. My parents did not approve of my relationship with now my wife. But yeah, so at the time I went to live with my uncles and my cousins, sorry, English is not my first language, okay? And all my games, like, they were stored in their garage. But unfortunately, one day the garage flooded, so all of my games, most of my games and some of my consoles were to shit. And I think the controller might have gone MIA at the time. Yeah. For example, this game I had to buy it again recently because I think no, for sure it was one of the games that with the flood it got ruined. Like all my PlayStation 1 magazines, yeah, a lot of PlayStation 1 games. Luckily, Star Ocean, like, got, I might show it one day, it's broken, but Metal Gear Solid survives. Final Fantasy VII, not sure. I think I have it, but the rest, like, at least some important ones were still alive. Resident Evil 2, Gran Turismo, Richard Burns, no, Cosmic Kali, my Tony Hawk's games from the PlayStation 2, like all my Sega Saturn games. Like I lost my Sega Saturn collection today. And that was the most heartbreaking. At the time I didn't care, but now it's legit my favorite console and I don't have any games for it. It's also a console that is hard to emulate, so that makes me even sadder. And the games are like 100 euros or more most of the times, and those CDs are like one of the most volatile. Like even PlayStation 1 games and PlayStation 2 can sometimes go bad and get ruined with time, but Sega Saturn CDs are even worse than that. So you're collecting something that it's expensive and it's not very durable. But there have been some improvements with the emulation of the hardware in the last few years, so there's hope. No. I think there are no solutions that I could rip the CDs and play with this special motherboard, I think, but I don't have any soldering skills. And I think there are even better solutions than that, but again, I think they all have to, like, you have to solder, or then there's also the question of, like, is my laser CD thingy even good? Will it read the discs? So when I lived in Japan, I bought a memory card for the Sega Saturn and some controllers. The white controller. I thought of like buying the console, the Japanese console, and some games, but I knew I would only live in Japan for a temporary time. So and I was there to make money. So I already had bought a lot of consoles that I knew I would only get in Japan, and so I ended up not buying the Sega Saturn or games. But also that's a story, like there's a lot of things to say, and I'll keep it for like future videos and future streams. Hopefully someday somebody's watching this and they'll start asking questions, and I love to explain more than once for people to get to know my story. Because I'm sure if I would do a video on Japan in YouTube, it will probably be picked up by the algorithm more than my current videos, but yeah, I don't want to talk about that now. And not for any particular reason, it's not that just like, I don't think that brings much value to you guys. Like, I want to think the life lessons in my preaching will either be valuable or boring. Like I know the newer generations feel like the millennials are always preaching, and they will probably not appreciate my channel. But for the ones who appreciate my channel, I think that gives you more value than like me just talking about my personal life. Like me telling you the story that I had this opportunity to live in Japan and that I lived in Japan for 2 years. Like, what does that bring you other than entertainment and curiosity? Like, what do you learn from that? There are lessons, of course, to be taken away from that, but not many are not as impactful as others. I've chosen to tell you guys first. I'll get there eventually, but I'm not in a rush. Even though it would be probably better for me to be discovered in YouTube. But I'll get to it. I'll get to it. I'm not ashamed, or it's not like it's tied to anything bad, really. It's actually a dream come true. But I just think it's a trend in YouTube that I'm not super fed up. I get it, I was obsessed with Japan too, but like, there are so many other things in life. It's just a topic as any other. If you're obsessed with Japan, and I hope you're not triggered by this comment, it's totally fine. But for me personally, it's, yeah, again, I want to bring, my goal is to bring you guys value, and I think me talking about my life in Japan feels more like a flex, and it's not my intention to flex. My intention is like, for like, hopefully help you somehow. Help you go through things, help you with things in your life, like give you new perspectives, give you some fuel, so you can like, I would love for somebody like me to tell me something in the comments like, bro, I never thought of this way. Thank you for sharing that perspective, this and that for me, and I will carry this with me for the rest of my life. Thank you so much for like giving me that push. Man, that would be like the ultimate dream. Like, you gave me the push, bro, thank you. It was thanks to you that like now I got where I'm at, bro. That gets me pumped up. That's what I live for, not gonna lie. Maybe one day, if I get somebody here, and I hope like you're not, if you're seeing this somewhere, don't do it just because I'm saying it. Like, I hope it's authentic. If I get one person, just one, bro, then my mission is complete. I'm not gonna say that I won't stop right there and then, but like my mission is complete. I've said this previously, and I think like that's it. That's, at least that's my goal in life. It's like, I know I existed in this planet if I could impact another person's life like that. That's how I know I lived, if that makes sense. That's my legacy. And sometimes I'm not even aware if I touch another person's life. But that's like somebody reaches out saying that I've touched their life in that way, then my life was worth it. And I know I've done it in the past with friends, and I see it sometimes. And people close to me, I've seen in the past the impact of some conversations, and which is like I'm super glad. Also, some conversations also had impact in me in the life, right? So, I mean, again, that's what it means to be alive to me. Super happy that I got to live with the impact of other people's lessons and advices, and I'm super glad to see other people live with their touch of me. I'll keep this guy as a reference. Oops, you have to be faster, dude, at least. I feel like these guys are too slow. There's this other dude. Oops, my bad. There's this other dude up in front. So in 2 laps I think I can. My fingers are hurting, guys, not gonna lie. Pressing so hard. I also have to go to the toilet. I feel like Rossi. I'll win the race and run to the toilet. Rossi used to do these crazy celebrations when he won the races, and I remember the toilet one. Dude was super funny too. Valentino. I wish I could speak Italian people. Sometimes mock him because of the way he speaks Italian. I don't know. I know a little bit of Italian. I think I could probably speak Italian and you guys would understand, but I don't know. Rossi's from a certain region area and he has this certain way of speaking which I don't know how to emulate. Ma non so come fare. Solo sono un poco bravo a parlare italiano. Adesso parlo non sono più bravo. Fa tanti anni che parlo italiano, adesso non so se sono capace di più. Anche perché sto giocando e parlare e giocare allo stesso tempo per me, che sono portoghese, non è un lavoro facile. Adesso cambiamo enough with Italian. I was gonna say we change to Portuguese, but then I remember I'm swinging. I want to go to the toilet so bad. Do I need diapers? Like an old man. And can I win this race in my hometown? I need to lock in, right? Oops. No. Damn. That's not the end result I wanted, not gonna lie. Need to be careful to not be super aggressive on this last lap. I'm super afraid of this corner. I did not do it very well, so I'm not sure. Need to press X harder. Also not very happy with the way I approach this corner. So, two in the red. Feels like I'm going very conservative for somebody who's wanting to win the race. So this is like where I'm better, but then it's the hardest part of the track, just like in real life, the last corner. Some place where you could take advantage, not sure I'll get there. Need to go flat out. Go, 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 go. A little touch there. In reality, I'm not sure I would pull it off. We would probably crash, but I need to go to the toilet and I won. That's all it matters, guys. Well, if you watch this somewhere in time, thank you very much for watching. You are the true G. I need to go, so hopefully you'll watch my video in 2 days, and if you're watching this later, thank you. Anyways, I hope you had fun. So see you around, guys. Just get the stream. Peace.